Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Cliff here. Continuing part 3 of the Pfalz build. Today is going to be the wing. I've decided to laminate the wingtip. I'm going to use 3 pieces of 1/16 balsa because I really don't like this, and I'm going to make the former to bend it round out of the old art board foam. So this is what I'm going to start with. And the very first thing to do is to just pin it through 3/16 inside the original outline to allow for the thickness of the laminations. So I'm thinking on this one I might just pin it down pin it down till it dries, and then I'll put it down again with glue in. So I'll actually be gluing it dry. Okay, I'm back. So the balsa's been soaking for a short period of time, 10 minutes perhaps. First one's always the smallest. The later ones are gets bigger and bigger as it goes around. So I'll do that with all 3 laminations on each tip, and we'll be back to you shortly. So you could glue it as you go, but I find that the glue does get watered down, of course, because of the water in the balsa, and consequently it can be a little bit on the thin side. There we are, block just to hold it. That's fine, it will sit in there lovely. So that one can dry, and I'll come back to you when they're dry. Okay, I've moved they're dry a little bit. They've only been on half an hour, but they're dry enough to glue. I've moved them this side because I want to build the wing in a moment. So the first thing to do is to spread a little bit of glue, including that drip, on the back of this. I would say don't stint on the glue, especially on the tight bends. That's where it tends to pull apart, and if you've skimped on it a bit, then you're going to have gaps which are going to need some glue forcing into them. So don't skimp on the bends. Put a couple of pins in just to hold it, like that. Get the next one. Well, it's got glue on it. I'm going to say I'm going to glue both sides, feed it around, keeping it quite tight to the previous lamination. I'm just assembling the trailing edge. I've cut 2 strips of 3/8 by 1/8. That's trailing edge is notched, so. Right, this one. First job is to pin down or locate the correct position for the main spar, which is obviously here. I'm going to put a couple of pins either side just to sort of hold it roughly. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're learning loads, hit the old like button. If it is old, thumbs up button, and I'll see you shortly. Cheers. That's in there nicely. Okay, let's have a look. Okie doke, that's that then, guys. I'm going to let that all set off, and then we can take it off and trim it and sand it, and I've still got some little stiffeners to add here and there, and the 1/8 dowel wing locating pegs, and the inside, the first bay of the wing ribs is covered with 1/32 balsa, just this first bay on the top. So that's to do, but very little left to do, to be honest. It's time to lift off some of these weights. There we go. Flat as a die at the moment. We need to trim some of that stuff. Let's get these pins out. Now, doesn't that look nice with the laminated tip? Really strong, looks gorgeous, and it'll sound lovely. Okay, so I've fitted the blocks for the rigging wires. I've done the 1/32 sheeting on the end. I've put the rib reinforcements 1/8 square on the inside of the rigging blocks. Well, there she is with the wings on, guys and gals. Very pleased. Spent quite a bit of time sanding the trailing edge down because it was hardish stock. The leading edge has come up quite nicely too. So I'm just going to take a mock-up photograph. Oh yeah, it's true. Actually, that's gone fantastically well, guys. One of those jobs I've been putting off, but that's gone through beautiful. So in that gap there is this little piece of aluminium tubing that ends up in there, and that ends up glued to the back of the aeroplane. Next job, I just thought I'd bend up the main undercarriage, get that soldered up. Basically, it's 2 parts, front and rear legs. And then there's a little spreader type thing in the middle on the front leg and the rear leg. So let's bend up the rear leg first, I think. A bit more perhaps. Offer it up. Okay, wire bent. And that's the bottom rigging support, which I've got to solder a little hook into the base of that as well, and there's a little copper hook to solder into the base of this one again for the rigging to clip onto. I'm trying a bit of an experiment here. This part of the undercarriage is pinned flat on the paper. I'm just going to see if I can sort of solder it together where it sits. Obviously it's going to burn the paper a little bit, but I'm not worried about that. So I've cleaned, it's nice and clean. I've cleaned all the metalwork up, and I'm just putting some flux on the joint. Normally I'd try and bind it up, but because it's such a lightweight undercarriage, I'm going to see if just solder will just hold it together. So let's give it a go. I'm going to try this, whether it'll just burn the paper or what, I don't know, but here we go. Just going to, oops, it's very hot. Just going to heat that up. Right, that's a lovely solder joint, nice and bright, silvery. And that. Not sure about that middle one yet because I've got to put the little loop on it. I'm wondering if I could bind it with cotton and CA it after I've done this. Now I just want to push that down very slightly. Just to hold it flatter. Well, that's bound really well. I'll have to take it off to have a look. It's gone well. I love the cooking smell this is putting out. It smells of roast beef. That looks good too. See it now then. That looks pretty good. Oh, how about that? One undercarriage all soldered up. The initial offer up goes like that. And there it is, one undercarriage. Or solder in there. It's not bad. Not too bad. You won't see that, I suppose, on the camera, but it's not too bad. So the other joints, these are the main ones. If those broke, wouldn't be the end of the world, but these are the ones, these are two that are going to take all of the landing forces, stresses. Those holes are for stitching the undercarriage to the hardwood blocks. The original plan, I think, mentions using fuse wire. I'm just going to use cotton thread and CA. Right, so that's the bottom bit. That's the bottom bit drilled, which is pretty good. I'm going to start tissue covering, which will be in part 4. So if you want to check that out, guys, if you don't know about tissue covering, you'll learn everything you need to learn there. So thanks very much for watching. If you want to pop the like button down below, it'd be appreciated. And if you want to subscribe, even better, and you'll see tissue covering and finishing, and then the maiden flight.